Welcome back to Talk of the Town, live from the cafe at the Corner House Art Gallery in central Manchester. My guests this increasingly delightful Saturday morning as the sun comes out from behind the clouds: Arlene McCarthy, the Labour Euro MP for the North West; Adele Locke, former apprentice and now the boss of Gentry Grooming; and the great photographer Aidan O'Rourke, who did want to mention, while you were here in the Corner House Art Gallery, the exhibition that's on here, Aidan.
Yes, it's called Do Not Refreeze, Photography Behind the Berlin Wall, and it's here at the Corner House on 3 levels, and it features the work of photographers from the GDR spanning from the 1950s right through to the 1980s. And it's a fascinating exhibition, and I of course I have a knowledge of the background, so I suppose I'm biased, but I know that a lot of other people who've got no knowledge of the background also think that it is a really wonderful exhibition of mainly black and white photography. In fact, it's exclusively black and white photography, so we've got street scenes and people, cityscapes, a very wide range of things.
And this is from a person who was a German teacher, is that correct?
Yes, I have a degree in German and French from Trinity College Dublin, and I taught at South Trafford College and at other colleges around Manchester until I left to go to the Middle East. So if I had been still teaching my German A-level class, and my specialist subject was Division of Germany, Second World War, post-war period, I would have recommended all my students to go and see this exhibition.
But for all the fact that you're a photographer and obviously fascinated by Germany, this would appeal to anybody?
Yes, it would, yes.
Fantastic. You're going to go upstairs and have a look at it later?
I am, because it's a piece of history, and I taught at the Free University in Berlin, actually, in the 80s.
Yeah,
and
I spent a year in Berlin.
And then I went back afterwards, and I think the change was fundamental. I had a lot of friends from the GDR, some of whom I met in Prague, who couldn't then at that time come into West Berlin, and I used to go and visit them all the time in the East, and then the more I crossed the border, the more they became suspicious of me, and I was in fact arrested a few times, arrested for longer.
Whose family is here because my grandfather left southern Germany in the late 19th century, and the fact that Manchester was the great German city. The Halle Orchestra was founded by the Germans in this town, and in fact it was much to my shock when I did a documentary about 20 years ago, when I discovered that you would only hear German spoken in the cocktail bar at the Halle. You wouldn't hear English spoken. Are we still a German city? Do we still know that we're a German city? I mean, how many years ago did the what was the institute that was here? There was a German institute.
The Goethe Institute.
Yes.
It's still going.
It's still going?
Yes. Yes, just up the street from here. Yes. I think there
was a proposal to close it down.
There was,
we all campaigned. We all campaigned to keep it going.
Yeah, because the Maggie Höfgen, who's one of the people at the Goethe Institute, helped with the exhibition. She wrote the introduction. So the Goethe Institute are still here, but as far as other evidence of a German presence in Manchester from the 19th century, I see very little. But as I was showing...
Except in Stuart McConey's book, he talks about, when he does his Manchester, this is the book I'm raving about at the moment, he says this is the city that changed the world because this was the city where Engels was working and Marx came to meet him and sat in that little corner booth of Chetham's Library and wrote the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, that's true. But in terms of walking around the city, there's not very much evidence.
You wouldn't know it.
But Danzig Street, over near the co-op area, that's one interesting sort of German city, or ex-German city. And when I was showing the photographer Erasmus Schroeter around yesterday, I gave him a guided tour of Manchester, and we went past Radium Street in Ancoats, and Radium Street used to be called German Street, and they changed the name during the First World War to Radium Street. He found that quite funny.
Did you know this was a German city, or used to be? Don't be embarrassed because I...
Not at all, no.
Don't be embarrassed because I come from the German diaspora here, but I had no idea about it until I was about 35 years old. So don't...
I've sang in Germany a couple of times. We busked there when I was in a choir called the Alicia Bardsley Singers.
We went a choir called what?
The Alicia Bardsley Singers. We also did the last night of the proms, Royal Albert Hall. I was only about 14, but we went twice.
Whereabouts in Germany did you go to?
We went to Cologne once and Boppard once. A little village called Boppard, so it's an interesting experience.
You see, there you are. You have much more knowledge of Germany than you have of France.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Slightly.
And I didn't know that the Liver birds were designed by a German architect. Did you know that?
Oh.
No, I didn't.
I went right to the top to have a look at them with one of my German colleagues.
Wow.
What did the Germans have to do with Liverpool? Very little.
Very little. No,
Very
not
little.
much
But
at all.
just the fact. So we own the German diaspora owns the Liver Gate. I shall remember that forever.